I'm here with Rick Spencer, the Ubuntu Director of Engineering, and we're in Orlando, Florida at the UDS for Ubuntu 11.04, the Natty Narwhal cycle. Rick, this is a new position within Canonical. Can you describe this position that you have?
Yeah, I'm not actually sure exactly what the job title is, but it's got Director, Ubuntu, and Engineering in it. And so I think I'm the Ubuntu Engineering Director. And I have the, let's see, like the kernel engineering manager is on my team, the foundations engineering manager, you know, Pete, Robbie, the server team, the new desktop engineering manager, Jason, the QA team, the ARM team.
What are you most excited about as an Ubuntu end user?
As an end user, wow. So first of all, it's all of this stuff coming together. I mean, I just feel like we've been working and making incremental changes, and then all of a sudden there was this like flourish of activity where like a lot of people wanted to be part of Ubuntu, and a lot of things coming in, like just new technologies, new people, the community's getting bigger, there's different companies that want to work with Ubuntu, so it's just, you know, I mean, it's hard to say what out of all of that is like the most exciting. I think it's just that like, wow, like it all is starting to really matter to people, and it's just so cool to be part of that. But honestly, as an end user, I think the thing that I want the most is like I want Ubuntu on everything, so that like I can write programs and run the same programs like everywhere. So like the whole vision of like what Unity can do for us, like let me write like GNOME apps, but then have them run in like the same kind of environment, like whether like on any kind of device or form factor that we can reach over the years. I think that's like that vision of Unity is probably like the end user thing that I'm excited about. And also, you know, I see myself as a little bit of a, like I like to write little programs and stuff, and I like to write little programs in GDK on GNOME, and just having them be able to like use those same skills anywhere that Unity runs, that's really exciting to me.
I've heard you've written some other little applications that deal with pictures or photo editing, that kind of stuff. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I think maybe you're talking about Photobomb.
Yes.
Yeah, I never quite finished Photobomb, but like what Photobomb was, oh boy, this takes us back to January. So like I came back from vacation, and what I did was I did something called a feature a day, and every day I wrote a little feature for Photobomb and I put it on my blog, and I did that for about a month, and that was a really fun project. I actually never like quite finished it, and there's like a couple hard things, so if anyone wants to take a branch and help me finish it, that would be cool. But
Well, I know that especially with Quickly and then demonstrating, you know, some of the stuff that you did with Photobomb, and then our App Developer Week and Developer Week, it's really a time for those weeks that we as the Ubuntu community and Canonical come together and really demonstrate how easy it is to develop things on an Ubuntu platform. Is that still an emphasis going into the Natty cycle?
Oh yeah, like very much so. In fact, like coming out of Maverick, the main thing that we did for those users who like to write programs, and also users who like to use other people's programs, is we enhanced the Software Center to make it so it's a bit easier to get your programs to end users through the Software Center. So it used to be the only way to get an app to an end user in Ubuntu, like really the only practical way was to target the release under development. But now we made it so that there's a way, so like approved apps that have been reviewed by the community, they can show up like on the current desktop. We don't have any yet, but there's a few in the queue, so like if you want to write an application for Maverick, it can show up on Maverick. Of course, if you want to write an application for Natty, we'll help you get into Natty too. So that's like a big Software Center enhancement, and that's pretty, you know, I think that's pretty cool.
What do you see coming out of the Natty cycle in regards to UTouch?
Gosh, I wish I was like really dialed into it, but from what I see is like they're really getting their foundation together, like their base, like what kind of gestures we support, and getting them into like the key applications so people can like really start using it in a robust way, and application developers can start targeting it. And also, I think there's going to be a lot of work to make sure that touch-enabled devices can work with it too. That's my guess.
What one area would you like to see more community contribution to?
Well, Gosh, I don't know if I can pick one area. I mean, I guess I could say one of the things that I want to accomplish in Natty is make sure that we like keep invigorating the community. So like one of the things that we've been talking about in UDS is how to make sure that when people submit patches that we can like review the patch right away and get them feedback, and that like people have a really good experience there. So that's like a big priority for me. So I guess I would just invite people to come and contribute in like whatever way they want, and I feel like in my position I can really encourage people and move some resources around to make sure that people have really good experience when they do that.
I know I was in a couple sessions that you were in, and one of the things that you sort of reminded people about, that if anybody was in the Ubuntu desktop team on IRC, that channel, your team, your former team was excellent about answering questions, no matter who stopped by the channel. Mm-hmm. Is that a message that maybe all the teams, all the development teams, platform teams, maybe need to help spread that message a little bit, that those channels are welcome for the community to come in and ask questions and be part of and seek out answers there that maybe they didn't realize that were open to them before?
Yeah, I would say that, yeah. So I think that like everybody who works on Ubuntu, who participates in like Ubuntu Devel or Kubuntu Devel, they are really responsive to people asking questions. But the way that the channels are named, they're a bit broader. So I think like the Ubuntu desktop team has got a bit of a focus, so people feel like I can go here and ask a desktop question, and then they find that the community, the desktop community, is really helpful and responsive. I think you get the same thing in other channels, except that you're a bit inhibited about going to the Devel channel and asking a question. So I think people should not hesitate to ask questions in IRC. And if you go to a channel that's not like the exact channel to ask a question, and someone will just suggest the place to go ask. And you can also send people private messages, and so I would just in general, more communication is always better, and people shouldn't be shy about asking anything. I mean, what's been your experience about asking questions? You find it's generally get a good response?
Yes, and that's what I was going to say. Having experienced those things, you're a great example of that, and you're a great example of mentoring your team and others in the community to be open and responsive to the community. And so for that, I just want to say thank you and continue mentoring that, because now like you're leading a lot of those teams who may need to be reminded of that. So yeah. I want to say thank you for doing that, and thank you for interviewing today.
Yeah, I would say though, like actually I think that's something that I learned from the teams. Like I learned I would credit like Martin Pitt and Sebastian, like the desktop team, Colin Watson, Scott James Remnant, like those people really showed me what it's like to be part of a community and how to act. So thank you for the compliment, but I'm afraid I'll have to, and I will do my best to encourage everyone to maintain those high standards.